Hey guys, how's it going? And welcome back to the channel. Now today we're going to be diving into some more Crested Gecko breeding information, and this topic on hand is going to be all about the egg-laying box. In this video we're going to be going over all the stuff centered around that information, including why I think you should have one, what size could be preferable, what to fill it with, and really so on and so forth. We got a couple of good topics to talk about with this, and plenty of good info, and honestly I just have to set some of mine up, so I figured I'll just make a video while I do it. That's the main reason I'm doing this. Anyway, with all that being said, I guess it's time to sit back, relax, dive into some Crested Gecko egg-laying box goodness, and roll the intro. Then kicking off this video, let's start out with exactly what an egg-laying box is and what its purpose is. So to put it in a nutshell, an egg-laying box is basically a small container filled with a moist substrate that you then put a little hole on top, giving the animal the ability to burrow under with the expectation and hopes of the animal laying its eggs inside this box. Now, this then makes it so much easier to find those eggs instead of shifting around all the substrate trying to find out where she laid those eggs, the entire, 56 core bin, 18 by 24 Exoterra. You can now think that, oh man, now I just have to go into this small container and hopefully the eggs are there. Now, while this is the hope, this isn't always the case, so I always make sure that the substrate itself is a little bit moist as well, because even when I've had Crested Geckos on paper towels with an egg-laying box in there, Crested Geckos will just always surprise you. Instead of the perfect nice egg-laying box with the perfect amount of humidity in the substrate to make those eggs flourish and be good, nah. Let's just lay them underneath the paper towel, where then your boy won't find them for a couple of days, and when he goes to change it, he sees bad eggs. Yeah, that's Crested Gecko breeding 101 for ya. Pretty much, you get your box, you get your nice substrate, you put the lid on, you put it in, and then you just keep your fingers crossed that your geckos are gonna lay those eggs in that. Moving on from that, let's get into the next topic at hand, which is of course going to be what size container you should use for the Crested Gecko. Now, lucky for you guys, I am a huge introvert and refuse to go outside within any means necessary, and people like DoorDash and Amazon has made it so much easier for me not to leave my home. With that being said, unfortunately, with these containers that I got through Amazon, they didn't have a 3 to 4 pack. It was more like a 50 pack with all shapes and sizes. It was only 12 bucks, so I figured what the heck. So now we get to dive into what this big box full of containers, and I'll be able to show you guys what the perfect container is for those geckos. And with that, of course, we'll have to open up the box, which means we're bringing out the Baggins blade. I don't know if you guys noticed, but I matched today with the watch and leather. I always feel like it's important to accessorize your medieval weaponry with your choice of watch. Yeah, not to be honest, I don't really remember how much stuff, or how many containers are actually in here. I think it was like a 50 pack. Gotta be real careful. This is exactly how I got that little number right here. So I don't learn my lesson, I just try to be slightly more careful. Remember, Dakota, cut away from yourself. Yeah, there we go. All right, now let's cut towards yourself. I feel like I've mastered this. So now, this is a flimsy box. I can do this. But first, we'll show the power of the Baggins blade in one feudal chop. You guys ready for this? Power. Let's get back to the video. All right, so it looks like we have plenty of containers to choose from, and I think I figured out what the perfect one is. So let's go over some of these sizes and which one I believe is the best for your Crested Gecko and why. Now, unfortunately, what I believe the perfect size being is these nice little 18-ounce ones. However, they only gave me 3, so I might need to transfer a substitute with some of these other ones because I don't think I have enough. I ordered 54 packs, and of course they short me the one thing that I actually needed out of this whole pack. Here's why I like the 18-ounce box. Now, the whole purpose of this is to make your gecko feel like it's in its own little burrow, and so it can burrow down and then get to where the appropriate humidity levels are, which is what we're gonna obtain by using this box. So you're gonna want something that's not super wide. So anything like this big, I feel is like a little too big and a little overkill. It's still, you get that chance of the gecko being like, that's too big, I want it more cornered, I'll make my own burrow, and then just goes under paper towels and lays eggs. Yeah, so pretty much I think this is the perfect size. It's enough to where the animal gets in. It's pretty cramped and nice in there, so she feels very secured, and it's gonna have the perfect amount of humidity. It's gonna be really easy to obtain a lot of humidity inside of such a small box, but it's still big enough where the animal can still move around slightly inside of it to lay her eggs. Basically, the whole point of a lay box is try to imitate a burrow with the perfect humidity, so you don't want to use something that's excessively big because it doesn't really imitate what we're trying to do, while on the other hand, you don't want to use something like this, which would be too small where the animal couldn't even get into it. All right, step number 2 with this, now that we got the box all set up, we know the perfect size, now we need to fill it with substrate. Now, substrate I have here is just some nice Zoom Ed sphagnum moss. It's just real cheap. You can find it at any pet store, and it gets the job done. The only thing is just to make sure that you keep it nice and moist. I let this dry out, so it's just like wicked dry moss. I'm about to go soak it in a minute while we finish up the lay box, because this isn't complete yet, because when it's closed, they can't get in, so we gotta make sure that they get in. So while that's happening, we're gonna be soaking this. I prefer the sphagnum moss just because of the fact that I find it's easier to see the eggs when they do lay in it, so I'm not constantly like, you know, every couple of days digging through the moss seeing if she laid or not. With some other choices out there, you know, any of your like cocoa fiber, anything like that, where it's pretty compacted in so the eggs can be hidden, whereas in this one, it's a little bit more obvious when there are eggs in it. Alrighty, while we wait for that stuff to soak up and get nice and humidity goodness, next step is to cut a little hole into the lid. This is pretty easy. The thing is, you want to make sure you keep the hole as small as you can. You pretty much just want it to be the diameter of what the gecko needs to get into it. So pretty much you don't want to like cut all of this out. Not only is that not going to maintain humidity, but again, it's not going to create that burrow-like feel that the animal needs to feel comfortable in order to lay those eggs. It's just going to feel like a box with a cutout lid in it, and that's not what we're shooting for, folks. We are shooting for real, authentic, burrow-like container with moss in it, and that's what we're here to do, god damn it. Really, the best way to do this is just to get your own little Dremel and then cut out a little thing. However, I have misplaced my Dremel, so I am going to... there we go. I'm just gonna cut out a little hole right here. Yeah, there we go. That's good. That's good. All right. All right. Let's not cut myself again. We'll go like this. Okay, fingers out of the way. Boom, 100% a perfect hole with no mistakes whatsoever. Oh man, can I do a cool camera trick? Oh, check that out. Not the prettiest, it will get the job done. The gecko does have enough room to burrow into it, get into that nice moss and lay the eggs, which is the whole point of this. So it's gotta wait a second for that moss. It's still not soaked up yet because this only took me about 5 seconds, and I'll come back and show you what a finished lay box looks like. And then boom, there you have it. You got your nice lay box. It's got the nice sphagnum moss in there. You got the little hole that you can get into and lay the eggs, and that's about it. Pretty simple stuff, pretty simple video, although I managed to still stretch it to 10 minutes long. There you got it, folks. Egg laying box 101. Hopefully, we can get some eggs in here and I can get some B-roll before I release this video. And with all that being said, that is going to wrap it up for today. And with all the information being said, I guess it's time to start my outro. Of course, huge shout out to Zen Habitats. If you're unfamiliar with Zen Habitats, they make beautifully designed enclosures like this one right here. Wow, impeccable, incredible, elegant. Just a rad enclosure, man. Really cool enclosure. Come at a decent price with free shipping. The shipping is included in that total, which makes it a whole lot easier and less of a headache when dealing with some of the other shipping companies or some of the other enclosure companies. If you want to learn some more information about Zen Habitats or potentially get yours today, you can find all that info right down there in the description. Let's get into the other stuff. You guys know the deal by now. Of course, we are on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. We got some awesome merch. It's all right down in the description as well, where we also have Patreon. Patreon.com/DBCBExotics so you get the inside scoop of what's happening here at DBCB Exotics. This includes the plethora of my breeding products going on, including tokays, gargoyles, crested geckos, ball pythons, even monitor lizards. We have a bunch of stuff. Are you looking on to getting on that list, that hold with a deposit? Hey, you won't do it through Facebook or Instagram. Patreon is the only place where I accept that because lists are a headache. Jesus Christ. If you guys want to sign up, it's a really awesome thing. Starts as low as $1 a month. You can find that down there as well. That's going to wrap up my spiel for today. I'm going to get going, but before that, of course, as always, we got to roll that outro. Let's hit it. Get me out of here. We'll see you tomorrow.